World Mobile is one of the most exciting projects building in the Cardano ecosystem. Their mission is to connect the unconnected, which there are still 3.5 billion people in the world without internet access. This aligns perfectly with Cardano's own mission because they want to bank the unbanked, and you cannot bank the unbanked if people don't actually have access to the internet. Big telecoms companies are not willing to go into these remote areas to provide access to these people because it doesn't make any economic sense. World Mobile's solution is a shared economy model which will actually reduce the operational costs for operators. So the community that wants to have internet access, what they will have to do is actually share the upfront cost of setting up the node and actually maintaining the operation of the network. The cost to the local businesses is estimated to be around $2,000 to $5,000. The beauty of the model is that a lot of the cost can actually be recouped. There is an incentive model that would provide rewards for operators that provide good quality service and increase network coverage. So basically they're going to earn rewards for facilitating stuff like texts, calls and data on the network. Now there are lots of other videos that will go through in detail how exactly all of this works, and it will take you through all of the air nodes and the earth nodes and everything like that, but that's not what I want to cover in this video. I am strongly considering investing in World Mobile token myself at the moment. I actually missed out on the public sale during the summer. I registered for the public sale in the last week, but it just wasn't enough time to actually get me in. At that time, the tokens were selling at around 20 cents USD, and World Mobile token has not yet been listed on any exchanges, so I haven't got a chance to get my hands on any just yet. As part of my analysis on deciding whether I should invest in World Mobile token or not, what I'm actually looking at is their roadmap, and just to see how feasible and how realistic this roadmap is, because the success of this project is definitely going to depend on them actually meeting their targets and getting as many users using the network. So in this video I will have a look at their roadmap in a bit of detail to see how they plan on scaling. As you can imagine, a project like this cannot scale just as quickly as something like, say, Solana for example, because some actual physical infrastructure needs to be actually developed and set up. If we now look at phase 1 of the project, in the first half of 2022, what World Mobile hope to do is to target 100,000 users in Zanzibar. The project really will be focusing firstly on sub-Saharan Africa, where there is approximately 800 million people without internet access, and these people have an average age of 19 years old. Interestingly, some of their pilot projects have gone really well. So in some of the areas where they deployed the pilots, what they saw happen in villages that now had internet access was that the actual population of the village started to grow, as well as a big increase in business activity in these villages. We even saw fishermen selling their fish to hotels in the next towns over and even exporting it to Europe, which hadn't been the case before. So the early signs are really good. In phase 1, they also plan on launching their mainnet, which will obviously be very important to get everything up and running. Also, in terms of scaling the network, what they are really going to need is the Hydra scaling solution to be available and live on Cardano. A mobile network is going to have thousands of calls, texts and data flowing across it constantly every minute. So this is really going to test how strong Cardano is. The Hydra scaling solution promises up to 1 million transactions per second and at very low costs. Charles Hoskinson on his latest Q&A said that Hydra is a business priority for Cardano, so hopefully we should see it sometime in the next quarter going live. But if this is delayed, then this could really push back World Mobile's plans also. But if it all goes to plan, then 100,000 users by mid-2022 seems very doable. So they only plan on having about 25 nodes or so, and that would mean 25 villages of about 4,000 people each, and that will get them to their figure of 100,000 users. In the second half of 2022, they plan on doubling the amount of users in Zanzibar to 200,000. So this would increase it to 10% of the total addressable market in Zanzibar. Before I move on to phase 2, I just want to briefly talk about what an opportunity it is to try and invest in an early stage of a project like World Mobile. It is really allowing retail investors to now become venture capitalists. For years we have been locked out by institutional investors. For example, if I wanted to invest in a company like Airbnb, I actually had to wait until the company actually got listed on a stock exchange, and by that stage it is already worth billions billion, and the major part of the growth in the company has already passed. But now with World Mobile, I can get in early and share in the success of its growth. It may end up coming to nothing, but it is unbelievable to have the opportunity to invest at such an early stage into one of these projects. Anyway, on to phase 2 of the roadmap, which brings us to Tanzania. This is also penciled in for Q4 of 2022, so they hope to add 100,000 users in Tanzania in the last quarter of 2022, and that would bring the total user base at the end of next year up to 300,000 users. At this point, I am relatively okay with all of the targets they have set. They seem to be tough targets, but definitely achievable. Phase 3 then takes us into 2023, and at this stage they want to scale up to 3 million users. They will mainly focus on Tanzania here again, and they hope to also have about 10% of the addressable market of about 30 million people here in Tanzania. In 2023 also, they are going to put proof of concepts in 12 other different countries and get through all of the other regulatory hoops they might need to go through to get set up and ready for new markets. This also seems fine, but possibly this is a stage where they might see some pushback and a few delays. Maybe some of these things will be completely out of their control. I don't know, I'm just trying to guess on where they might see a few hurdles. Maybe a few countries might throw up a few barriers that might slow them down a bit. Phase 4 then is scaling these 12 countries up to about 10 million users. So this is in 2024. It's not very clear, and I couldn't find what 12 countries they are going to target here, but I assume it will also be in the sub-Saharan African region. This is kind of where their roadmap stops, and it gets a little bit vague after that. They say from 2025 onwards, they hope to hit 100 million users. I couldn't find any detail exactly on how soon they plan on hitting that 100 million figure. They hope it can scale to that level because of the model that they have, the shared economy model. So what is going to happen is it will be more demand driven. So the people in the local communities will come to World Mobile and say that they want to set it up, and they'll come and buy the equipment and get it set up because they will want to keep up with the Joneses in the next village who also have internet access now. The very last part of their roadmap is really a goal that they have is to be one of the largest telecom providers in the world by 2030. So if you do invest in World Mobile, it is going to be a slow burner. You're probably not going to see huge returns until there's massive network effects and a huge amount of users on the network. But I really do like this project. It has some real utility compared to a lot of projects that don't really do a whole pile. And the good thing about utility tokens is that they are looked on favorably by regulators. When you look at some of their competitors, even if we think of like Starlink, Elon Musk's company, what they plan on doing is actually launching like 12,000 satellites up into orbit to try and give internet access to remote areas. But that doesn't sound too environmentally friendly to me. World Mobile's plan seems to make a lot more sense to me, but I wouldn't really know much about it. So that's pretty much it for my analysis of World Mobile's roadmap. Have any of you already picked up some World Mobile tokens or plan on investing in it? If anybody has any other opinions or thoughts on the roadmap, please let me know in the comments. I would really be interested to know other people's opinions. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you could please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it.